In order to use this partial view, I go to the index.php file, and here I create a div and make it ngView. And this is the container where partial views are displayed. Now, in order to load partial views inside this container or inside this div, I should use routing. So, in order to route between different partial views of an application in AngularJS, you need to download a library from the internet which solves the problem of routing in your applications. Now, I have downloaded a file. I mean an AngularJS library from the internet, and I go and copy it from its place and paste it inside the scripts folder of the application. I go to JS folder. Here I copy this library and paste it inside the scripts folder. Now I go to the app.js and inject the ng-route directive. Okay. Now inside the scripts folder, I create a new AngularJS file and call it config.js. As you know, inside the app.js file, I have created a variable called application. I copy it and paste it here and write the configuration of this application on this variable. Application.config. I create an anonymous function here and use the route provider as a parameter here. Now here I say a route provider dot when there is only a slash after the name of the project, load the partial view, which is the login.html and resides inside a partials folder, and set its controller to the controller that I've created inside the app.js here. I copy it and paste it here. I save the changes, and here I import or include that library here, the routing library, and also the config.js that I've recently written. I go to the browser. Okay, localhost. Now, congratulations, I see my login page here. And this is the slash that I used here inside the configuration file, this slash. And I said it load this partial view when there is only one slash in the URL after the name of the project. Now I'm going to create the dashboard and the reports partial views. First of all, I create two partial views inside a partials folder. The first one is the dashboard.html, and inside this HTML file I create some divs and a label. Okay, I create a container div, and inside this div I create another div, and I set its class attribute to contents, and inside this div I create another div and set its class attribute to subcontainer center. These classes have been defined inside the styles.css file. Now I create a label, and the text is welcome to the dashboard. And I set the class attribute of this label to label. I create the second partial view and I name it reports.html. Now I copy the contents of the dashboard.html and paste it inside the reports.html and change the text to welcome to the reports page. Now I close these two partial views, and now I go to the index.php. As you see here, there is a link to the dashboard partial view. I want to make it active. Okay, I go to the config.js here. I say that when the last parameter in the URL is /dashboard, load the dashboard.html partial view, which resides inside a partials folder, and also set its controller to the Angular controller. You can change your controllers if you want, or you can create more controllers. Save the changes and go to the browser. I reload the page and click the home link. I see that I'm redirected to the dashboard, or the dashboard partial view is displayed for me. Now I copy this piece of code and paste it here and change this text to reports, and I say when the last parameter is the word reports after the last slash, load the reports partial view. I save the changes and go back to the browser. I reload the page and see that the two links work successfully. Now I go back to the browser, and as you see, there is a logout link here for me to log me out of the application. I want to activate this link. I go to the controller here. I write the $location, and inside the body of the logout function I write $location.path/login, and I write its configuration inside a config.js. I copy this piece of code and paste it here, and say when the URL of the application ends with /login, load the login.html partial view, which resides inside a partials folder. The controller can be the same, or you can change it. I save the changes and go to the browser. I reload the page. Now I click the logout. I see that the login form appears. And now, how about this login button? When I click this button, it should load the dashboard partial view for me. Now I go to the app.js, I copy this piece of code and paste it here. I change this text to dashboard, and also the configuration for the dashboard has been written inside a config.js. Now I save the changes and go to the browser, reload the content and click the login. I see that the dashboard has been displayed. When I click the reports or home, I see the change on the page.